Hi everybody, how's it going? This is Jack Divine. Thanks again for tuning in to another episode of Jacksnax. This morning, I figured I would come down and share with you some ideas that I was working over for one of my students, and I think it'll definitely help you out. So, I played this lick. And my student asked me if I could show him how to do that, and I was like, hey, no problem. This works very well over like this connective jam at the end of Scarlet on your way into Fire. If you're a deadhead, that's gonna, otherwise these are just like B Mixolydian and major pentatonic sounds. So everything coming out of the parent key of E major, but we're starting on the low B. That's the best way to kind of quickly encapsulate what's happening there. So I'm going to share with you a couple of my ideas that I've been working lately, and this is one of them. So over this groove, right? So let's talk about that. We're starting on the 6th of the B chord. Okay, that's that G sharp, and we're sliding up into A with an upstroke usually. So up, slide, you can do down, up. Okay, there. Or you could do down, down. Or anything. It's a slow lick, so the right hand picking pattern isn't really that important, but whichever you prefer, okay? But it's pick, slide, pick, pick. So we're coming up into this little D shape, but not on the E, B, and G strings. We're coming up one. Okay, so it slides up into that A note, D sharp. Okay, and we're going to do that. Then we're going to take the middle finger and we're going to slide up into this little kind of D7 shape happening at the 11th fret on the G, B, and E strings. That's the red house, like... shape. Then we're going to take our middle finger, put it back on the G string, and slide up from the 5th to the flat 7 of the B chord. Like that. And we can keep going, or we can end, which is what I do. Like that. That's a little B major arpeggio, bending from the 6th up into the 7th of the chord. So that's from that G sharp again. Okay. All right, so. Okay, then. So that's 14, 12, 14 on the G, B, and E. And then we slide up. Bend up to the A. Okay. Then pick again and pull down and pull off. Up from flat 3, that's the D, into D sharp there at the 15th and 16th frets on the B string. That should be a hammer on. Though you can do up, down, down, so you double down. Or even slicker is start at the A flat and come up chromatically all 4 notes. Okay, you'll just come right back up into the 1. So that was the idea that kind of started all this, but I was thinking about it, and there's a couple of other ideas that, you know, this is a great key to noodle around in. It's big long jam. So here's another one that I really like, is when we see the shapes within the B Mixolydian scale moving diagonally away from us. So if we're thinking about going from the high string, high E up to low, we're going to see this kind of diagonal movement this way, and if we start at the low E, we're going to come back and down. So it's a great way of getting around the neck. We're used to this kind of stuff to get from here to up here. What we're not used to a lot of time is coming from here and back to here. So, right. Now you can noodle around with all this all day long, right? We don't have to go, we could go, or, okay, so you can find any 2 notes on 1 string and just go, or, right? Or we can go this way. Right? So take the B major pentatonic and break it up into 2 notes per string. And you can use it to get back and forth along the neck, okay? So one of the things that's nice is being using it to do something like that, okay? So that's just another idea. Another way I get around a lot in this kind of section of music is I'll use the chords A and B, and I'll arpeggiate the A chord and the B chord, and I'll show you how that sounds opposite the loop, okay? That little excursion aside. So what are we doing? We're looking at the A chord with the 3rd in the bass. And then the same idea up here. A with the 5th in the bass. Same voicing up 2 frets for B. Then we go end up in the A again with the 3rd in the bass. Just an octave of where we started. And then we're coming. That last little bit is an interesting little shape I'll teach you right now. We're coming up from the 5 of our 1 chord. So from the B off of F sharp. So we're going 5, 6, flat 7, and then we're going to play the 7, the flat 7, the 9, and the 3rd. Kind of forms an A flat, A major flat 5, or sharp 4. about this is you've got this shape, and if we take that same shape, bring it down a string set and up 1 fret, we get a kind of a similar picking pattern. So if we go, it's one of my favorite ideas. All right. Another one that I use an awful lot is this idea of sliding from a chord tone to an adjacent scale tone, skipping a string, and then releasing back into the chord. This sounds like that. I'll show you. So that's what that gives you, okay? So you come up from the... Or you can go even further. All right, so... Yummy. All right. Hopefully you guys can get in with some of that. I've already shown most of you this idea. Okay. The idea being that we're taking the B7 arpeggio, then adding the 9th. So it's a triplet followed by a group of 5. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then a bunch of triplets afterwards. So 3 groups of triplets, well, 4 groups of triplets after the group of 5. So 1, 2, 3. All right, and that's just a super fun idea. I hope you can incorporate that. Similarly, we were talking about this idea. Right, if we can do that down an octave. And then if we commingle that idea with that first idea of this. Right? So that's another idea. I often talk about using quotations of other melodies to help with improvisational moments, and I think that this is another another melody that I would want to try to get in there. It's based off the Lydian dominant, so we're gonna have a. All right, so 1, 2, 3, and. talking about B Mixolydian, the same notes are A Lydian. So sometimes thinking about chords that you're playing over from that modal perspective, it opens up your mind. Think A Lydian over B Mixolydian, and you start thinking about, oh, I remember that old Lydian lick. And one of the fingerings that I access a lot when I play Lydian is this. All right, and any of my students out there, they'll know I teach that, and I jokingly call it the pyramid, because it's wide, and then gets narrower, and finally has a pyramid top. So it's kind of this triangle that exists between the 9th and the flat 7 of the B chord. Symmetrical on the E and the B string, and gets narrower here with the 3rd and the 9th, and then so. All right, and the nice thing is you can then bring it up there as well. The G string and B string fingerings change, but the G and D strings, but the E and B strings stay the same. And we can. All right, so check that out. 1, 2, 3, and. All right. Another idea that I'll often use is this. So we start with 1, 3, 5, flat 7, 9, 4, and then release into the 3rd. So 3, 4. Okay, so that's a nice little arpeggio shape. Similarly, we can take it from, rather than going behind, we can take it on the front half of the B arpeggio. So this would be from behind, like 1, 3, 5, flat 7, 9, and this is up front. They're very similar ideas, but we're just kind of, rather than using these frets, we're using these frets. So. I'm just about done. There's one little bit that I was doing the other day, which was kind of fun. It's utilizing these little dyads. Right. So if we look at that with the, we can do it arpeggiated, like. Okay, listen, 3 and. nice idea to be able to do that. So that's coming down like. Okay. My G strings out. It's a little sharp. Anyway, so you can also do it more rhythmically. Utmost, you can do that triplet kind of effect. So we've got a 4-note pull off. We can do 2 4 notes, starting from the root, going back to the 6, and then come back 2 frets and go from the flat 7 back to the 5. So that's. Typical, you know, there's like the Garcia enclosure that I always talk about. That can work out nicely too.